Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to the break room. Let me get myself um, set up here, and I'm so glad to be here with you guys this morning. And today we are going to be talking about managing our emotional wake. The the wake we leave behind, the ripple effect we leave behind from our leadership engagements, and even talking through, do we realize that we do that? Uh, yeah, so I'm excited for that. I'm going to give it a minute or two. I don't know if we'll have very many of you able to join us in real time this morning, but uh, I'm gonna act as if we do have you here with us, and I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah, I'm just giving it another minute or so. Gratitude check-in. Love doing the gratitude check-in time, and just wanted, what are you grateful for this morning? I'm grateful for opportunity. I'm trying to get better at that, and just really sticking to this idea that it's super important for us to be grateful for the opportunities that we have and not miss those in a way that actually that that we look back on things and realize, like, oh gosh, I didn't express any sort of, I literally missed that because I was so busy looking at other things, looking at the future, looking at the past. We can continue to be in a rut of missing opportunity to be grateful, opportunity to um, engage. Like last night, I went to an awesome networking event. I have the opportunity to do a few of those, and I'm trying to get more intentional about those as well. It just enjoying the space, enjoying the people, hearing them, seeing them. It's my favorite thing to do is see you guys. And yeah, so it was a great time. And I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of some of these relationships that are being forged in these networking spaces. But for today's topic, like I said, it's about managing our emotional wake. And so when we think of a wake, if you're on a boat and the boat goes through the water, it sends a wake behind it. It's the ripple effect. And depending on what's going on in the water, sometimes the wake is huge and sometimes it's small. And those big wakes can do a lot of damage. And some of the smaller ones, you might not even recognize that they were there in the first place. And so, conversation starter specifically for today is the question and the prompt I want to throw out there for you guys is, as a leader, you do leave behind a wake, right? And you leave it behind you in every meeting. Okay. What does the water look like after you leave the room? What does the water look like after you leave the room? Do you realize that the water looks like something? Do you take accountability for what it looks like? Um, do you think through, based on what that water looked like, do you think through what kind of effect it is having or has had on the people in the room? These are all things that we have to think through. Now, this is connected to our ability to have a strong or present emotional intelligence. Like, are we able to really look at how we're showing up? Okay. What are the things that I thought of? Some things like, what are the things that affect that water? So, some of the stuff that we can think about as far as where it comes to us and what we bring to the table, tone, mood, body language, general knowledge of what's going on, or specific knowledge if we're talking about a project that we're trying to get our team on board with or get our team moving forward with. Um, all of those things can go into affecting the water, affecting the wake in the room. And what are some things that might really kind of get thrown in the water? Like it's more of a intentional thing because you know how sometimes you throw those little pebbles in the water and it skips a little bit and then but it still creates an effect in the water, right? Or you can throw a big old rock in the water and then what happens then, right? So what are some of the things that we're throwing in the water? Sometimes things like our tone, mood, body language, general knowledge, specific knowledge, all of that's coming in the water anyway. That's coming. So it's more like it's going to create something. Can you just be aware of that? But what about the things that are being thrown in the water? Okay, intentionally bringing it to the room, bringing it to the team. So things like surprise info, like uh it happens, right? So, what is our intention when we're bringing in information that's going to surprise the team, or last minute information, last minute requests? What about this is a good one. Unrealistic expectations presented as normal procedure. That's one. That's a big one. So you know that it's an unrealistic expectation, but you don't feel confident enough to present it to your team that it is. So you try to present it to the team as if it's just normal procedure. Deal with the awkward silence in the room if people don't feel like they can speak up and say something that this is unusual and you're just okay with what it leaves behind, right? Because as leaders, sometimes we just have the privilege of just going back into our office or going on with our day, and we're not left to see or understand how the information is being received and what has to be done with it. So why not show up? We've got the power and we've got the privilege. Why not show up in our most authentic self and way and realize that this is a unusual expectation. It's not a normal one, and that it might even be difficult to accomplish. But say that out loud, but still present it to the team and actually want to try to get it done. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But I think sometimes we just kind of we know what we need to have happen or what we want to have happen, and we're just willing to take the residual effect that could come from the wake we're leaving behind with that emotional bomb that we drop in there that we don't address. So, just some things to think about with this whole topic and understanding that we leave an emotional wake behind us is social awareness. Okay, that's one of them. Are you reading the room? Are you recognizing your own stress levels and how they may be affecting the other people in the room? Okay, not that you have to be stress free. You don't need to pretend that, but just the recognition, social awareness. Okay, self regulation. How about you're hearing information that either is upsetting you or it's kinda, like, heated or it's something discouraging. Maybe it's something that you've learned in the team, something didn't get done like you expected it to. Something may not be there. Somebody might not be able to be at a certain thing. Who knows? Whatever it is. Um, self-regulation is important. I always think through this thing. Do you want to, use your energy to, express the feeling that instantly comes up for you? Are you trying to solve for this moment or do you want long-term residual solution? Long-term solution and ongoing solutions and ongoing what are we trying to say? When we want to create team dynamics that are continual, that we want to continually grow together as a team, we want continual fruit per se to keep coming from this, then self-regulation is super important. It's not that you aren't upset, it's not that you're not maybe even just mad or whatever, or just really disappointed in something or someone, but how you approach that situation in that moment really matters for the other things that you want to see happening down the road. And it's not always the answer, "Oh, well," and or just being okay with losing people, because that's more work on you as well. Because you're going through this again, you know what I'm saying, as far as trying to build. And we have to build community, we have to build team, um, with our team. It is a community that we're working within, regardless of what the transfer is, back and forth with one another. We're transferring something, right? They're bringing their skill sets, and we are in the position to bring compensation based for their skill sets. And although we don't, not every place is, people use the term family and stuff like that. There are opportunities to do that in some industry. It does have a family vibe. It can have a family vibe. But even when we're approaching it like that, it's, caution on that as well, because not everybody treats their family well. So maybe I don't want to be treated like your family, because maybe you don't treat your family that great, right? So just be careful with those things, and just being aware and making conscious choices, right? So self-regulation. And then the last one, empathy as a strategy. Empathy as a strategy. So, active listening. Yes, you're delivering information to your team. Maybe you're needing to see the dial move on particular things, but listening to your team and making sure that they know that there's a space to express all the things that go with team dynamics, is so important. So, empathy as a strategy, meaning like you could hear from that person who's sharing with you some of the common obstacles that may take place, or maybe an uncommon obstacle that you may not be aware of, because honestly, you're not doing the day to day in that job, right? You're overseeing as a leader, you're overseeing the aspects of the job, you're doing the visionary part. And you have a framework of understanding of what's going to happen, but you may not have the nitty gritty in between steps that are necessary, even for those of us who may have done the job 5 years ago, 10 years ago. What does it take to do the job today? So a bit of active listening will go a long way with your people. And it will help you, because if by ignoring that aspect and not using active listening, or not showing up with the intention to use empathy as a strategy, you might find yourself in another kind of what do you call it, real, a little circle or circular thing that's happening for you, where you're, instead of retaining people, you move from retention to replacing people, and resignations flying in, and blah blah blah. And again, if we're not self-regulating, and maybe we get a resignation, or something that we feel like could be leading to a resignation, in a moment where we're heated or discouraged, and in that moment we respond like, "Oh well, this must not be the place for them, da 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 da." Maybe that's what's happening, but you know what, that is fleeting. And if it is very fleeting, because you're still going to find yourself in another space where you're doing this again. You're going to bring somebody else on board. They're going to need to get these downloads from you. They're going to need to get envisioned from you, get the vision, catch the vision, all the things. And then they still are going to need to engage with you and talk with you, hear from you, give you perspective, give you the obstacles um, that they may or may not be facing, right? So it's better that all of this start with us. So yeah, start with us. And managing our emotional wake, being aware that it exists, and we can decide what we bring into the waters of our team dynamics and our meetings and all of that. We can decide what we bring, and we can decide when we know we have to bring something big that's going to cause a wake just by sheer nature of what it is. We can decide how to manage that, and how to and if we can prepare the team, and if we cannot, be a cool place to um, deal with it so that they know, hey, we're in this together. Like we get, yes, it was shaky, but we got this. A little motivation, inspiration goes a long way. So if you have any questions about that, anybody have any comments they want to throw in the chat, any questions in additional, uh, let me know. Let me know. Let me know. That's all I have for today. So if you guys want to talk about anything that I brought up or anything else, let me know. I think I have, looks like somebody's on board with me. Yeah, it's been great. So week 2, hoping to tell your friends about this, get them in here, get them joining us in the talk. And if they aren't able to join us at this time in the chat when we're on, bring them on board and get them tell them subscribe so that they can see that community tab and then be able to talk about things in the chat in between. We can do that. So yeah, just let me know. And I hope you have an awesome day whenever you're seeing this. If you're seeing this in the evening, I hope you have an awesome evening. And hey, thanks for joining in the break room. And we'll see you guys next week. All right, guys. Bye.